Hello friends, and thank you for joining me for this 50-minute yin yoga session for your chest and your shoulders. To begin, just come into a comfortable position. That could be seated with the legs crossed, sitting in traditional seiza position on the heels with the knees bent, standing or lying down. The eyes can be open or closed. And just begin to notice any sensations here behind the eyelids, any sensations of darkness or light. And if the eyes are open, bring your awareness to the darkest point in the space around you. And sense into any feeling tones here. How does the darkness make you feel? Try not to judge your experience as positive or negative. Just notice what's here. If you open or move your eyes, does your experience change? Then close or move your eyes back to the darkest point. And just as the darkness exists in this moment, so does the light. You always have a choice as to where to direct your attention. Breathing in and out, you are strong enough to hold both energies of both darkness and light. Breathing in, affirm, I am strong. Breathing out, I am brave. Inhaling, I am powerful. Exhaling, I am enough. And return your breath to its natural rhythm. And I will leave you here for a few moments longer until the bells sound 3 times, marking the end of your meditation practice. And begin to deepen the breath now and guide your awareness to your fingers and your toes, wiggling them slightly, keeping the eyes closed until the final bell has sounded. Slowly opening the eyes and maybe looking out over the right shoulder, bringing the head back through to center and looking out over the left shoulder, drinking in your surroundings, taking some neck circles here, rotating the neck in one direction and then reversing the direction. And on the next inhale, lift the shoulders up and bring them back down the body. Inhaling up, exhaling back down the body. And then on the next inhale, inhale the shoulders up to the ears and roll them forwards, reversing the direction of your shoulder circles. And if you have a block or a stack of books, grab them now and place them on the second or third highest height in front of you. We're going to come into our first pose, eagle arms, bringing the arms back into space, opening the chest before bringing the arms together and crossing the left elbow underneath the right one, bringing those forearms close together, taking a bind with the hands if possible, before leaning over the block, resting the elbows down onto the block and the head onto the forearms. Feeling a stretch here in the upper back body, in the shoulders, the rhomboids, Remembering that it's okay if the arms don't reach together and there's space between them and the hands don't bind, just honour wherever your body is today. And if leaning forwards and resting the elbows onto the block diminishes the stretch too much in the upper back body, you can remain seated upright, raising the elbows as high as possible and dropping the hands away from the body. If you would like more of a challenge, you're welcome to come into a toe squat position instead of being seated with the legs crossed. And there should be no pain here in the shoulders, no sharp red stinging sensations. If there is, you need to back out of the pose slowly. The same if there's any tingling in the hands or the fingers. Breathing deeply here into the shoulders, into the backs of the arms, and exhaling, releasing any tension that arises. And on the next exhale, if you'd like to deepen into the stretch, lift the elbows up off the block, open the arms out to the sides, and place the block a few inches ahead of you, taking the bind again with the hands and the arms and lowering the elbows back down onto the block. Resting your awareness here on the breath, breathing in and out of the body, and surrender into the pause. And on the next exhale, lift the elbows up off the block using your core strength and open the arms back out to the sides. And we're going to come to lie flat onto our backs, so make your own way there, taking your time, bending the knees and planting the feet mat width apart, allowing the knees to fall in towards one another, resting the hands anywhere that feels comfortable, taking a rebound to experience the sensations of chi or energy in the shoulders and the upper back. Breathing in and out through the nose. On your next exhale, roll over to the right side using the right hand followed by the left to push back up into a comfortable seat. Taking your prop, if you had one, to raise the hips, sitting onto a cushion or a block, and making sure that that block or stack of books is directly in front of you again before taking eagle arms on the second side. Opening the arms wide, bringing the arms back before bringing them together This time bringing the right elbow underneath the left one and bringing the forearms together, taking a bind with the hands if that's accessible, before dropping down onto the block with the elbows and allowing the forehead to rest onto the forearms, releasing into your eagle arms on the right side. Breathing into the opening in the shoulders and the upper back. Remembering that we don't want to feel any red sharp stinging sensation in this area or tingling in the hands and fingers. And this relates directly to our 3 principles of Yin Yoga: to resolve to remain still in a pose, to find our edge, and to play. So the playing comes once the fascia or connective tissue of the body has opened up by resolving to remain still in the pose. And we want to avoid this sharp red stinging sensation. So we want to, if there's any pain, it wants to be no more than a 4 out of 10, and it wants to be a dull nagging sensation rather than a sharp red stinging sensation. And you can back out of a pause at any point if the red sensation arises. Taking note here that one side may feel different to the other. You may have more or less range of motion, and that's completely normal. It's nothing to judge. But it is something to accept about ourselves. Each day is different, and each pose may be different. And our uniqueness is to be celebrated. And if you wish to deepen into the pose, you can lift the elbows off the block and place it slightly further in front of the body. Or you can, if you're seated upright, you can raise the elbows higher up into space and drop the hands further away from the body before settling back into the pose, into your awareness, just following the breath here in and out of the nose, following its natural rhythm. And on your next exhale, begin to lift the elbows up off the block and open the arms back out to the sides, taking a nice big stretch here, maybe rocking the head from side to side before coming to sit in a comfortable position to experience the rebound, the flow of chi in the shoulders. If you're looking at the screen, say hello to this gorgeous golden boy. Okay, look away from the screen now. You can close your eyes again. And prepare to come onto hands and knees to tabletop for a few rounds of cat and cow, perhaps taking a blanket under the knees for extra comfort and support. Palms flat to the mat directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, the spine, drop the chin into the chest, round the tailbone. Taking a few more rounds, following your own rhythm of breath. Inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chin. Exhaling, reversing the direction, coming into cat. Keeping the hips over the knees, start to walk the hands forwards towards the top of the mat and lower the forehead or the chin, and if possible the chest, down to the mat. It's okay to place a block here underneath the forehead or underneath the chin for added support. Feeling an opening in the shoulders, the chest, the armpits, the belly, softening the heart. And if you have any high blood pressure, are menstruating, or have an upper body infection, make sure that the body and the head are level, perhaps placing a bolster underneath the chest and the head. And if you'd like more of a stretch, you can place a bolster or some blocks underneath the elbows. And we definitely don't want any sharp red stinging sensations in the back, the knees. A blanket can be placed here again underneath the knees for added support, or rolled up behind the knees to decrease the bend in the knees. If you have any pain, back out of the pose slightly, walking the hands back towards the body, and the elbows can be lifted off the ground with the arms straight, palms flat to the mat. Or the elbows can be lifted. The toes can be curled under, or the feet. The tops of the feet can be flat to the mat. And you can also practice this with one arm extended and the other arm, the hand, placed underneath the forehead. Just find the variation that works best for you today. Breathing in and out through the nose. On your next inhale, to deepen into the stretch, you may wish to remove your prop, your block, off the mat, or if you have the block underneath the elbows, you can increase the height of the block or the bolster now. Taking 3 more rounds of breath here. And on your next exhale, push into the hands and start to lift the head back up off the mat, walking the hands back in towards the body. And we're going to come into our next rebound pose, which will be traditional child's pose. Coming down onto the knees, the legs can be a little bit far apart if needed, resting the forehead down onto the mat and allowing the arms to come down by the sides. Resting here for just 1 minute, breathing in and out of the nose. And on the next exhale, allowing the upper body to come back up and the head, moving any props out of the way, but just make sure that you have your block ready if needed, and lowering down onto the belly, bringing the legs straight behind you, tops of the feet flat to the mat. We're going to start by bringing the elbows down to the mat and then threading the left arm underneath the right, crossing the right arm over the top of the left one, so the elbows are one on top of the other, placing the forehead down on the mat or onto a block at any height, coming into our broken wings pose. Feeling an opening here in the shoulders, and we don't want any pins and needles in the arms, the hands or the fingers. And the forehead here can be directly down on the mat or the block, or you may have one side of the head on the block or the mat. And if this feels too intense, then you can do a one-armed variation, so just bringing the left arm underneath the body, bringing the right arm down by the right hand side, or you can come into a prone position on the back and just hold the left arm in front of the body with the right hand, feeling a stretch in the left shoulder. You might want to lower the height of your block now to play about with deepening the sensation in the shoulders. Or alternatively, you might want to try coming into Broken Lizard, which will be shown in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And on the next exhale, lift the head and lift the chest and slowly uncross the arms, bringing the left arm out to the left side in a straight line, coming into our open wings pose, planting the right palm flat on the ground and rolling onto the left hip, stretching the legs out straight or bending the knees, either is fine. And we should feel an opening here in the shoulder, and if you want more of a stretch, you're going to bring the right leg up and behind the left leg, planting the right foot flat to the floor. And you may also want to take a bind, placing the right arm and the back of the right hand behind the lower back. And on the next exhale, release the right palm back down to the earth, slide the arm down the wall if you have it there, and bring the hands to stack one on top of the other, resting the forehead down on the hands in crocodile pose. Feeling into any sensations here in the chest, the bicep, the shoulders, breathing deeply. Just observing the flow of chi in the body. And on your next inhale, lift the head, push into the arms, bringing the elbows back underneath the shoulders, grabbing your prop so it's within reaching distance. This time threading the right arm underneath the left, bringing the left elbow on top of the right, coming back into that broken wings pose, allowing the chest to come back down to the earth and resting the forehead down on a block at any height. And just remember, it's completely natural for one side to feel different to the other, so you might need a different height on this side as opposed to the left side. Breathing deeply into the shoulders. And just a gentle reminder here that we don't want to feel any pins and needles in the arms, the hands or the fingers, or at any point during our yoga practice. So if this is the case, you can back out of the pose a little bit, lessening the stretch, or come out of it completely into restorative posture that works for you, either seated, in child's pose, standing or lying down. And on your next exhale, you can lift the head and start to push into the arms to lift yourself back out of this broken wings pose. This time bringing the right arm out to the right side in a straight line, using the left hand to help roll over onto the right side of the body, straightening the legs, or you can have the knees bent here, and the right hand can stay planted on the mat, or it can go up and over behind the lower back in a bind. And you can also bring the left leg up and behind you by bending into the left leg and planting the left foot flat on the floor. Breathing deeply here into your open wings pose. And again, if this side is perhaps naturally more open than the other, you can come into that broken lizard variation, which I'll place on the screen again now. And you want to feel an opening here in the right side of the chest, right pectoral, maybe where there's some compression, perhaps into the armpit, into the right arm, and the scapula in the back of the right shoulder. And again, we don't want any sharp red stinging sensation. It wants to be a dull green nagging sensation, no more than a 4 out of 10 on the pain scale. And another challenge that you might want to do is to have the right elbow bent rather than having the right arm straight. But again, it's entirely up to you. And I encourage you to play about with these elements within your own body and explore what works best for you today. And on the next exhale, release the bind of the left hand if you had it behind the lower back, placing the left palm back down onto the mat and bringing the left leg back on top of the right one before rolling onto your belly. And just allow the legs to be straight and the arms to rest down by the sides. You can roll onto one cheek or rest your forehead down on the mat, just taking a few breaths here in a rebound, observing the flow of chi throughout the whole body. And we'll take one last deep belly breath here together before bringing the palms underneath the shoulders and pushing yourself up, or rolling onto your side and pushing yourself up. And we're going to need 2 blocks for the next pose. We're going to come into supported fish. So we're going to place one block horizontally at the top of the mat for the back of the head and the other block vertically, and you want to place it down the spine in the upper back, in the thoracic spine as demonstrated. So trying to get a T shape with the blocks on the mat, and it might take you a little while to find the correct position for your body if it's the first time you're entering it. If that's the case, I recommend you pause the video now whilst you find the best position for the blocks. We don't want any pinching with the blocks in the back at all, any pain in the neck, the spine or the lower back here. So take your time settling into this position, feeling an opening in the chest, and if the head is tilted back slightly, also maybe into the throat. The legs can be straight with the feet pointing back towards the head, or you can come into any other position with the legs, perhaps bringing the soles of the feet together in butterfly. Breathing down deeply into the chest and back out of the nose or the mouth. And you can raise the arms up and overhead, or you can bring them down by the sides or maybe onto the belly. And supported fish is known as the destroyer of all diseases in ancient yogic texts. Here we're stimulating the lymphatic system, which helps boost immunity to protect against diseases and infections, and we're also relaxing the nervous system here with this inversion, which helps to reduce symptoms of anxiety, fatigue or depression. And as we've deepened into the pose now, you might wish to remove the block from behind the head by reaching back and taking hold of the block, removing it and allowing the neck and the head to hang back. Breathing deeply here again into the rib cage, into the chest and the abdomen. We're releasing the fascia, the connective tissue of the shoulders here. And on your next exhale, you can push into the elbows or roll onto your side, off the prop. Come onto the hands and slowly lift the torso up, removing the blocks from the mat. before lowering back down onto your back. You can place the feet about hip-width distance apart and allow the knees to fall into one another, or you can extend the legs straight down, coming into our final pose, Shavasana. Allowing the feet to relax, the toes to relax, the feet begin to fall out to the sides. Give the arms a little bit more space down by the sides and breathe down deep into the belly and out of the mouth. Again, in through the nose, out of the mouth. One more time with a final sigh, in through the nose, out of the mouth. Closing down the eyes, or if it feels more comfortable for you, keeping them open. Just allowing your body to integrate all of the work that you have done in your practice today. Now is the time to fully let go and release, feeling the body get heavier with each breath, breath by breath, sinking deeper into the earth beneath you. I will leave you in silence in your Shavasana now, but you can trust that when the time arises, I will guide you back home. Begin to deepen the breath once more, in through the nose. And feel into the hands and the feet, perhaps wiggling the fingers and the toes. Feeling where the edges of your body make contact with the earth. And if it feels good for you, you might want to take a stretch with the arms up and overhead, pointing the feet away from the body before rolling onto one side, coming into a fetal position, perhaps wrapping the arms around yourself or placing one palm on your chest. Just thanking yourself for showing up for you and for your practice today. Just taking notice of how the energy in the body has maybe shifted from when you started the practice. And on the next exhale, bring one palm down to the earth, push into it, followed by the other, coming into a comfortable seated position. Just taking another couple of breaths here. And on the next inhale, raise the arms up and overhead, connect the palms and bring them down to the center of the chest in Anjali Mudra. Thank you so much for joining me for your practice today and for choosing to share your energy here. Have a wonderful day. If you like this class, don't forget to like, share and follow us. You can find us on social media at True to Myself Yoga. Thank you, and I hope to see you again on the mat soon.